In this video, I'm going to teach you how I made this notch collar shirt with a turn-up sleeve. If this is what you like to learn, all you need to do is just to stick around and watch this video till the end. Welcome back everyone to this tutorial. If you are a new subscriber, you are welcome. Thank you, and let's get into the video right now. So now I'm going to get my fabric here, and I have the fabric on fold of 2. And I'll be folding it with the hip measurement, which is the largest part of the shirt. So 47 divided by 4 is the hips, which gives me 11 3/4. I'm going to add 2 inches, 1 inch for allowance and 1 inch for the seam allowance, so which gives me 13 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to mark 13 3/4 on this fabric now to get the measurement I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to mark 13 3/4 of an inch right here, and I'm going to mark it on the other side and make a line right here. So I'm going to mark it like this. So I'm going to mark a starting line of 1 inch on the upper part here as well. Right. So after doing that, I'm going to just measure the full measurement of the shirt, which is 26 inches. I'm going to be marking my 26 inches right here, just as you can see. I'm going to mark 1.5 inch seam allowance right here, and I'm going to mark it like this. So after doing that, I'm going to cut it out so I can have what I want to work with. Now I'm going to mark 3 inches width for the neckline I'm working with, and 1 inch depth for the neckline. So because I'm working with the back measurement first, so I'm going to mark the neckline just like this and shape it out just as you can see. So after doing this, now I'm going to mark the shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 8 inches plus 2 inches extension, which gives me 10 inches. So I've marked it right here. Then I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch slope down all the way here. So I'm going to just mark it just like this. So I'm going to come down by 9.5 inch for the armhole length, sorry. So I divided what I have there by 2, and I'm going to I divided it by 2, and I'm just mark it like this. So I'm going to leave it here, then get the bust measurement I'm working with. The bust measurement I'm working with is 41 inches divided by 4, which gives me 10 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to add 10 1/4 of an inch plus 2 that I've added on the hip measurement as well. So I have 12 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to mark 12 1/4 of an inch on this part right here. I hope you get it. 12 1/4 here. So after marking it, I'm going to trace the armhole now. Mark 1 inch guard here to get the armhole. If you have an armhole curve, you can just make use of it. So just mark it like this. So after doing that, I'm going to get the waist length, which is 17 inches. I'm going to mark 17 inches right here. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is what I have here is 12 1/4. I'm just going to minus ½ inch from the 12 1/4. Then I'm going to mark it on the waistline. I'm going to remove ½ inch from whatever I have on the bust line. That is what I have. You can actually minus 1 if you wish. So on the hip line, we already know what we have on the hip line, 13 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to mark it right here on the hip line. So I'm going to get my ruler, and I'm going to just connect those lines together just like this. I'm just going to connect it just like this, and I'm going to just blend in the waist area so I will not have a sharp edge around there. So after doing that now, I'm just going to cut it out. So I'm cutting out with 1/2 inch allowance on the sides, as you can see, on the armhole. Then I already have my allowance added to the side, so I'm just going to cut it straight just like this. So I'm going to mark 2 inches. Mark 2 inches on this line for the extension and the button placket. 2 inches on this side. Fold your fabric and make sure that this side is not the folded part. It does not even need to any folded part anyway. So just mark 2 inches right there. Then after marking 2 inches right there, just place your back on it like this and mark the line, so you don't need to stress yourself and start marking all over again. So you can get what you have. So I'm done doing that now, and what I'm going to do now is just to extend this line out just like this. After extending it, I'm just going to divide what I have here by 2. So that will be 1 inch on both sides. I hope you get it. So after marking it, I'm going to mark what I want to come down by from where the button is going to be starting. So I marked 8 inches there. You can mark 9 or 10, depends on wherever you want your button to start from. So I'm going to mark this now and extend this line, connect this line from here to the extension of the neck line. I hope you understand. So extend it this way, and now I'm going to cut it out. You can see the way I'm cutting it out just like so. Then I'm going to cut out this part as well. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut a facing for the both sides of the front part of the bodice. So I'm just going to cut out the facing like this to the neckline, and after I get to the neckline and I get to this place, I'm just going to measure about 2 inches. You can measure 2 or 3 inches, depends on whatever you. So I'm making use of 2 inches here. Then on the down part, I'm just going to connect the line just like this, make a straight line. Then I'm going to mark here so I can know where that starts from. I'm going to mark it here in the middle too. So I'll remove that. Then I'll get my lines just like this. I'm going to get my lines just like this, and I'm going to cut it out. So after cutting it out that way, I'm going to go to the down part and I'm going to measure 4 or 5 inches right there. You can measure 4 or 5 inches right here. Then I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to make a slant line on this part. Just do as you see me doing. So after doing that, I'm going to place it on one side of the front bodice, and I'm going to mark 2 inches in on here, 2 inches, and I'm going to notch on the 2 inches. I'm going to notch about 1/2 inch on the 2 inches mark right here. So here is the notch. So you can see what I've done. So after doing that, I'm just going to stitch from the notch part. I'm going to stitch down here, then stitch all the way down with 1/2 inch. So I hope you understand that. So after doing that now, here is what I have. I've turned it out, and here is what I have. So you can see the 1 inch. So I have 1 inch left here, and this is the notch. You can see the way I've turned it now. So this place is open, and I'm just going to fold in this edge. If you have an interlocker, you can just interlock it, or if you do not have, just turn it in and stitch it down properly. So here is my back bodice, and I'm going to place one side of the front bodice on it, and I'm going to match it and run a stitch here, 1/2 inch stitch, and on the side I'm going to run a 1 inch stitch right here, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. So from the neckline of the back, I'm going to just fold it into 2 and make a notch in the middle of the back neckline. Then I'm going to pick up my tape and measure from the first notch here. I'm going to measure what I have on the front neckline, and what I have there is about 5 3/4 of an inch, and from the back I have 3 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put that down now. This is the pattern at which I'm going to be used to cut. I'm going to be using it to cut out the collar. So 5 3/4 for the front and 3 1/4 for the back. So I've marked the starting line, and here I'm going to mark my back neckline first. So I'm just going to indicate back here and front here. So I'm going to mark 3 1/4 of an inch here. Then I'm going to mark it up. I'm going to connect the straight line here. Then I'm going to mark the front, which is 5 3/4 of an inch. So 5 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to mark. I hope you can see right here. Then I'm going to mark a straight line on this part as well. So after, I'm going to come here by 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to come up by 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to just curve it just like this. So after doing that, I'm going to come up here by 2.5 inch. 2.5 inch. Mark it here, and I'm going to come to the back neckline and come up by 3 inches here. 3 inches here. And I'm going to connect the line just like so. So I hope you understand up until this part. So here I have my 5 3/4, and here I have my 3 1/4, which is back and front. So I'm going to just cut it out. So I'm going to extend this particular part with 1/4 of an inch. You can see it right there. I've already marked it, 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to just connect it just like this. So just to have a sharp edge around that area. So I'm just going to cut it out just like so. So I'm going to cut it out now on the fabric, and here I have it. This part 1/2 of an inch round, and I have this part on fold. So, and I have what I have here. I have 2 pieces of the collar right here, 2 pieces of it, and I have my interfacing ironed on it already. So after doing that now, so here I have it. Then I'm going to place it on each other, right face on the right face. I'm going to place it just like this, and I'm going to mark 1/2 of an inch all around. I'm actually marking 1/2 of an inch all around, just like so, and I'm going to mark it just this way, and I'm going to stop here. Stop here. Do not stitch it all the way down. Just leave about 1/2 of an inch on here and the other side as well. I hope you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm done now, and I've ironed it, and this is what I have. Then I've notched it in the mid point, like here. You can see I've notched it there. So I'm going to pick it up now, open it into 2, and pick up one side and match it to the back neckline just like this. And I'm going to pick my pin and hold it down just like this. Hold it down to the here like so, and I'm going to match up the, you can see the notch area and where I stopped on the collar. You can see, just match it up like so, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So I hope you understand. So just match it up here. It's going to fit in, don't worry. Just match it up and use my pin to pin it down. So I'm going to just pin it down here as well, and I'll run a stitch on it. I'm going to stitch on it with 1/2 of an inch from this first notch till the second one. So I'm done with that now, and this is what I have. So I'm going to flip the Ankara to the back. So because we have a notch there already, it's going to be easy to flip the Ankara to the back. So I'm just going to flip it to the back like so, pin it down just like this, so I can hold it down. So this, according to the way I've cut this cloth out, the Ankara fabric is going to end on the front neckline. By the time I'm stitching it, it's going to end on the front neckline. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, at the part that the Ankara ends, I'm going to have a notch right there. On this part that it ends, just have mark, yes, I'm just going to notch it with about half of an inch here. I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side as well. Here, just notch it with half of an inch, so as to be able to flip that place up. So I'm going to mark on the down part as well. The first collar we stitched, I'm going to notch it on this part, on the same part that I've notched the first one. I'm going to notch the second one at the down part, so that I can just push it in, push the one down in, then cover it up with the one up. So because there is a notch on this side, it's going to be able to stitch like that. I hope you understand. Yeah, it's going to be very easier to stitch because of the notch that we have on that area. So I think that is basically the reason why they make this collar a notched collar, because we have to notch it here to be able to finish it. So I'm going to just continue folding it up like this. I hope you understand. Continue folding it up like this, folding it up until we get to the second part here. So this is what we are going to be doing. So I'm going to just, first of all, I'm just going to stitch the Ankara down first. So I'm done stitching the Ankara down, and this is what I have. Then I'm going to just notch this. Yes, you can see the stitch. So the stitch, if you want to stitch this Ankara part, make sure that the stitch is up on the first one that you have notched. The stitch that you have there, make sure that it's up and not on the same line or down. So I'm just going to arrange it properly like so. Then I'm going to iron it just to see what I'm doing properly. Then after doing that, now I'm just going to notch on this. I've not notched the down parts of this one, so I'm going to notch it now, so I can be able to push it in. Then use the one at the upper part to cover it up, just as I explained earlier. Push it in, then use this one to cover it up just like this. I hope you can see. So I'm just going to do just like that until I get to the second notch on the here on this part. So if you are going to realize that the notching that we are having is starting from the first part of the back till the second part of the back. So here I'm just going to run a stitch, tiny stitch on it, on this part just like this, and I'm going to finish up the collar like that. So I've run the stitch, and this is what I have. It's looking so neat and nice. So you can see, just iron it properly. This is the back, and we are done. So I'm going to come here and mark 3/4 of an inch just to have a curve on that part. So if you like, you can go up by 1 or 2 inches, depends on the kind of curve you want on that area. Just to have a little curve, that is what I want. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side, and after doing that, I'm going to mark a slit. I'm going to mark a slit of about 5 inches with allowance 5 inches, and I'm going to make a slit on this part. So I'm going to come to the one side of the facing like this, on the wrong side. So I'm just going to fold it up here. Please take your time and watch it properly. Fold it up here. Then after folding it up, I'm going to come up by 1 inch here. I'm going to mark my 1 inch here. Then after marking my 1 inch here, I'm going to stitch it down. Stitch it, just the place that I've marked is where I'm going to stitch. Just stitch it down. After stitching it down, I'm going to pick up only the Ankara fabric. I'm going to pick up only the Ankara fabric, and I'm going to divide what I have there by 2. I'm going to cut the Ankara fabric out, divide it by 2, and make sure that you have it divided by 2. So I'm going to take my tape now and measure 1 inch inwards from the Ankara 1 inch inwards. So I'm going to just, you see the way I'm cutting it, just like this, and I'm going to cut it all out up until this part. So I'm cutting it out now. I'm going to turn it now, and this is how we're going to finish this part. So this is what I have after I am done. I hope you can see what I have, right? So I'm going to fold it in here to this side, and this is how I'm going to be finishing the edge. So just fold it in here, fold it in, fold it in, fold it in, fold it in, and then I'm going to use my hemming gum to finish here. I'm going to put my hemming gun inside and finish it. So this is the sleeve. If you do not know how to cut out the sleeve, I have a video on it on my channel. Please do well to watch the video to know how to cut this sleeve properly. Thank you. So now this is the part that I'm going to be using for the turn up, and I have about 3.5 of an inch of the jean part. So here I have 10.5 inches for the sleeve I'm making use of. So you can make your sleeve longer if you want, and this part that I'm joining to, if you want a bigger turn up, you can actually make it longer. So the length of this one that I have here is 3.5 inches, sorry. So you can make yours 4.5 or 5. So I'm just going to place it. Now you can see that I have excess on both sides. So please have excess on both sides before you cut it out. So I've stitched it down with 1/2 of an inch now, and this is what I have. So after, I'm going to just, you can see the way I'm turning it. I'm turning the excess that I've hold in, the 1/2 inch that I had is what I'm turning in like this. So I'm just going to run a stitch on it, tiny stitch on it. So I'm done now, and I'm going to flip it to the right side. This is the right side. So from the part that you have a stitch there, measure 1 inch down. Measure 1 inch down from the 1 inch. Just measure it all the way down to the other side, just like so. So you are going to fold in this 1 inch like this. Now please take your time and watch what I'm doing on this part, please. So you're just going to, this is what I've ironed inside, and I'm just going to place it like this and push in here, push in this place, push it on it just like this. I hope you understand. Please rewatch this video if you do not understand. Fold in this little allowance that we have here, fold it in, iron it down just like this. Fold it in, iron it down. You can actually rewatch this side if you do not understand. You can rewatch and pause it so you can get it. So fold it in, fold it in, fold it in like this. Fold it in all the way down and iron it down. You are really going to make use of your iron on this part. So after that, then you're going to fold it in again. Fold it in again. You're going to fold it in again and iron it again all the way down. So we are folding this part twice. We are folding this part twice. So I'm going to repeat it all the way down to the other side. So here's what I have after I'm turning it and I've ironed it. So you're just going to run a tiny stitch on it here. Then after running a tiny stitch, this is what I have. So here we are done with our turn up sleeve, and I'm going to, now I can cut out the excess that I have. Please do not cut out this excess until you get to this point, so you don't have any shortage. So here is our sleeve, and I hope you all know how to fix the sleeve into the shirt. So here this is how I'm going to finish it. I'm going to use hemming gum for the facing, as I've used for the edge, for the hem of the bodice. I hope you can see. So use your hemming gum to finish this part as well. Use your hemming gum to finish it as well. So we are done with our video, and you can see, if this video has been helpful to you, if you have been able to learn something, please kindly subscribe, like, and turn on your post notification so you can know when I upload a new video on this channel. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.